guys, welcome to Fit to Fight Republic. I'm Hope with FightFlex. Hope you guys are having a great Tuesday. I remember what day of the week it was this week. Got a pretty gentle practice today. You might want a blanket or a pillow for your knees because we will be on them for a bit. Other than that, just grab a space on the floor or your mat, and we're going to get started in a seated position. You guys have seen Bo before. He's probably going to be more than happy to help me with my practice today. So sit down. So just find a comfortable spot. You can close your eyes if you like. Start to get connected with your breath. Or your dogs in this case, whatever the case may be. They're helping me live my yoga today. Just start to notice how you feel in your body today. Any sensations, good or bad, or maybe you don't even label them, just any sensations that you notice in your body. And then see if you can just allow your body to start to get heavy. Go. See if you can relax your shoulders away from your ears. See if you can, if you're holding tension in your face, in your jaw. Maybe have some barking dog in the background. See if you can just let that go for a moment. And if you can't, that's okay. Now we're just gently going to drop our chin to our chest. Come back through center, bring your chin up toward the ceiling. And then just start to make some nice circles. Either you can like trace a saucer, or you can do the more traditional, just maybe a 360. Again, taking time and noticing where you may be holding tension. And just as you breathe, see if you can relax that a little bit. Like Bo, he's doing the lying dog pose for us. And then we'll come back to the center. We'll just inhale, bring our shoulders up to our ears. And then exhale, relaxing them down your back. Do that again. Inhale. And exhale. We're going to bring our fingertips up to the ceiling. And you're going to exhale, coming over to the right. Left hand can either come on your knee or on the inside of that right knee. Gently come back to the center, fingertips go back to the ceiling. Exhaling to the opposite side. And then come back to the center. Awesome. We're going to come into our tabletop position. And we're just going to start to release through our wrist a bit. So you're just going to move forward where you can feel your wrists start to create some tension, and then back. You can also start to move in some circles in one direction and then the other. Yeah. Whichever one works for you today. You can also move side to side. Focusing on your breath. Trying to focus on what's happening on your mat versus like any distractions. Because distractions don't go away just because we want to practice yoga and breathing or exercise. They're going to be there. Good example, tink in there, sounding the alarm. And then go ahead and take your knees wide. Sitting back on your heels, coming into your child's pose. You can extend your fingers out, or if you want to stack your palms, releasing your forehead down to the tops of your hand. And if you're here, you can give yourself a little bit of a forehead massage. Otherwise, just concentrate on your breath. If you've got really tight hips, you may notice that you're here versus like your bum resting closer to your heels, and that's okay. And here, if you want to take a few cleansing or clearing breaths, inhaling through your nose, and then opening your mouth and just letting that air go, or letting that breath go. Again, inhale, and then open your mouth and just let it go. And notice if maybe you move a little bit closer to your mat. Notice what sensations come up in the shape for you. Maybe in your shoulders, maybe in your hips. Nice. We'll come back into our tabletop position. Spreading your fingers wide, and then we'll just move through some cat and cows. You can move through them any way you'd like. I always encourage to, especially the first few, really take your time. Move it in between the shapes. You can add in some C curves here if you like, or maybe some small circles in both directions. Awesome. And we're just going to take our right leg behind us, and you're just going to push to the top of your toes and then back to your heel a few times. Just extending through our leg, releasing through our calves. Really push your heel towards the opposite side of the room. Should feel the tops of your thighs engaged here, keeping your core engaged. Nice. Come back to that center point. You can bend your knee and just start to make some circles in one direction and then the other. Awesome. And then release. And always notice what's going on with your upper body. Notice if you start to move to one side or the other, and see if you can't engage your core just enough to where you keep everything on that midline, or just about on that midline. Come back into your tabletop. We'll move through another little set of cat and cow. Come back to the center. Extend that left leg this time. Again, pushing through your heel and through your toes. Nice. Push your heel towards the back wall or wherever you're practicing today. And then go ahead and bend that knee and find some circles on this side. So moving in one direction and then the other. Awesome. And come back to your tabletop, taking your knees wide again. Coming back into your child's pose for just a moment. This time you're going to bring your hands either above your head or to the backs of your shoulders. You should feel this in your shoulders and in your triceps. Again, just allow your body to be heavy here. Notice any sensations that come up. And then just try to stay with your breath. Nice. Releasing your hands, coming back into your tabletop. We're going to tuck our toes. We're going to come into our first downward facing dog. So that might mean keeping a nice bend in your knees, pushing your hips towards the ceiling, towards the sky. Hands can either be right in front, or I like to just slightly have my fingers go out to the sides, just take some tension off of my shoulders, off of my wrist. And then maybe you start to paddle out your dog, just releasing one heel towards the floor and then the other. Always coming back to your breath, keeping your core engaged, protect your low back at all times. Nice. Go ahead and bend into your knees. We're gonna hover over the mat for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and release your knees back down to the mat. Fingers can come forward again if they were out to the side. We're gonna extend that right leg back first. Then you're gonna lift your right leg off the ground, bend at your knee, don't hit any tables, and then bring that leg into a low lunge at the front of your mat. If you need to, you can help your foot come up. Just take a moment. Again, make sure that you're engaging through your core here. And then we're gonna come up to a kneeling position. We're just gonna open up gently. So first you always want to check out your alignment, your ankle and your knee. And then you can gently start to find a little bit of motion here. Keeping your core engaged, everything stacked, your tailbone pointing towards the floor. We're gonna inhale our fingertips to the sky. Nice. Releasing your hands back down to the mat, right hand on the outside of that right foot. And then you're just gonna move that right leg back to join your left leg in tabletop. And then we're just gonna start to make some hip circles. Maybe side to side a bit. If you need to lift your hands and rotate through your wrist, you can do that as well. We're going to tuck our toes, coming back into our downward facing dog. Again, my fingers turn out to the sides just a bit to protect my wrist. You can go back to walking out your dog, or you can just start to work your heels towards the mat. You can play with how close of a distance your feet are to your hands, so you can have a shorter downward facing dog, or you can stay here and just breathe. Then again, we're going to bend into our knees and allow them to hover over the mat for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and release. Fingertips can go back to the front of the mat. This time extending your left leg behind you. Go ahead and lift that left leg, bend your knee, bring that left leg all the way up to this low lunge. Left hand on the outside of that foot. Pausing here for just a moment. Engaging through your core, coming back up to that kneeling position or this low lunge position. And again, after you've made sure that your knee or ankle are in alignment, you can start to find a little bit of movement here. Staying strong in your core, in your legs, staying grounded. Nice. Releasing your hands back down to the mat. Left leg comes back into your tabletop. Tuck your toes, and then we're going to come back into our downward facing dog. This time you're going to inhale, bringing your right leg up to the sky, except we're going to keep our leg in alignment with our hips, so we're not opening wide, really far up to the ceiling. We're just going to stay about right here. Left heel is working its way down to the mat. Go ahead and release your right leg. Bend into your knees, hover over your mat for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome. Bring that right leg behind you. Go ahead and step it up again, finding that low lunge. Right hand on the outside of your right foot. And just pause here for just a moment and breathe. So now we're going to take our left leg. We're going to bring it behind so you're just hinging from your knee back behind that right leg. Give yourself a moment for that leg to acclimate. You're going to rise up. You're going to place your forearm, your right forearm on your right leg, and then bring that left arm over your ear. So we're coming into a side body stretch. So this should be a really strong pose. You're probably going to feel it on the inside of your right thigh. Really see if you can open up that left shoulder towards the sky or towards the ceiling. And breathe. Keeping your core engaged, belly button to your spine. Nice. Releasing that left arm down, we're going to pause right here for just a moment. Rolling the left shoulder back, opening up your chest. Nice. Bringing both hands back down to the ground, right hand's on the outside of your right foot. We're going to release that hinge, knees going to stay on the ground, and then we're going to come into a runner's lunge. So start to straighten that front leg, toes are active towards the ceiling. And then just see about forward fold, and it's going to look different for everyone. It may feel different today versus another day, and that's okay. Remember, chest to leg, or chest to top of thigh is what we're going for here. Nice. Come back into that low lunge. Tuck your left toes. Hands are still grounded. We're just going to lift that knee or left knee off the ground for a moment. And breathe. And then release. Right leg goes back to join your left. Finding your tabletop. Tucking your toes, coming back into downward facing dog. Whatever works for you here, whatever might feel nice in your body. And then lift that left leg toward the ceiling. Again, we're going to keep it in alignment with our hips for now instead of opening wide. Stay right here. Try to sink that right heel towards the mat. Go ahead and release that left leg to the mat. We're going to bend into our knees, hovering over our mat for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release. Go ahead and bring that left foot up, coming into your low lunge. Hands stay grounded. This time you're going to take your right leg and hinge. It's going to move over behind the left leg. Taking a breath, we're going to rise all the way up. Then you're going to bring your left arm to your left thigh, right ear, or right arm over right ear, and then find the side body stretch on this side. Again, you can really open up, bringing your right shoulder behind you, opening your chest toward the ceiling. Try to remember not to hold your breath. It's really easy when we're in these side bends to want to hold our breath. Really strong through your legs here. Go ahead and release that arm. Right arm down. We're going to stay here for just a moment. And breathe. Nice. Bringing both hands back down to the mat. Right leg is behind us. Again, we're going to tuck our toes. Keeping our hands grounded, lift that right knee this time. And breathe. Dropping our knee, coming into our runner's lunge on this side. So right toes are pointed toward the ceiling, and then we're releasing into a forward fold, whatever that looks like for you. And just breathe. Notice how the sides might feel a little different. Awesome. Come back into your low lunge. And then back into your tabletop position. Again, if you want to find a cat-cow or two, whatever shape might work for you here. And then we're going to come into our high plank for just a moment. So high plank, roll to your toes and through your heels a few times. Now go ahead and place your knees on the ground. We're going to shift forward. We're going to lower halfway down, keeping your core intact. Push all the way back up. Do that 3 more times. So keeping your core engaged, you're going to go halfway down and push all the way back up. We'll do that 2 more times. Awesome. Last time, we're going to hold at this halfway point and then lower all the way down to your belly. You can stack your palms, rotate your hips from side to side. You can rest your forehead on your hands if you'd like, whatever works for you today. Then go ahead and come up to your forearms. We'll come into our Spanx Pose. We'll start with this active pose. So chin is slightly elevated toward the ceiling. And then exhale, you can drop your chin to your chest. Come back through the center. And then release all the way back down. Nice. And go ahead and bend your knees, and you can windshield walk your legs from side to side. Maybe make some circles. Releasing your legs, bringing your hands back underneath your shoulders, tucking your toes, pushing back through your high plank, back into your downward facing dog. Coming up to your toes, just start to take tiny steps all the way out to meet your hands. Coming into a forward fold and finding whatever bind you like. So maybe you grab your elbows, releasing your neck, it stays soft, shaking your head yes and no. You can always keep a nice bend in your knees, whatever works for you today. Releasing your hands, we'll come into a halfway lift here. Exhale, forward fold. Again, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. One more time, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And then find your way back down to your tabletop. We're going to tuck our toes, leaning back or for a toe stretch. See if you can't stack your shoulders and your hips, keeping everything in alignment. Trying to relax into the pose here. Releasing back into your tabletop, you can tap the top of your feet out. Then we're going to come down to our bone, extending your feet out in front, and just gently windshield wiper your legs from side to side. Awesome. Extending your left leg out in front, we're going to take our right leg, cross it over your thigh. If this is too much on your hip, you can bring that foot to the inside of your leg. And then just taking your right hand here, just gently add some pressure to open up through that hip. Flexing your foot is also going to intensify the stretch a bit. Yeah. So feel free to stay here if you want to bend that other leg. This is really going to intensify the stretch. Whatever's in your practice today. Patience is in mine today. Instead of getting mad, and then we all get irritated, we all get mad about things that we can't control, but sometimes it's nice just to change up your viewpoint and realize that you have an opportunity to grow from a situation versus just react. Go ahead and extend that left leg out again. We're going to take our right leg out this time, take it a little bit wider than your hips. Keeping a nice bend in your knee, and we're just going to release forward, allowing your spine to curve. Chin can drop to your chest. Slowly rolling back up to seated position. Right leg goes straight. Left leg either comes on the inside or on top of your right thigh. And then with this left hand this time, you can start to just add a little bit of pressure. And breathe. If you want to add in, intensify the stretch, just bend your right leg this time. It's definitely going to intensify the stretch a bit. Again, focusing on your breath, focusing on what you're working towards right now. If you don't know, it's okay. I don't know what I'm doing half the time. Slowly release that right leg and left leg. And this time we're going to make more of a deeper forward fold. So you can take your fingertips up to the sky, ceiling or sky, and then release, maybe release to your feet or your shins. Again, it's okay if you have some rounding in your spine here or in your cervical spine. Keeping your toes active, so pointing toward the ceiling. Slowly rolling up to standing, or up to seated, sorry. And then bring the soles of your feet together. You can start to butterfly your knees a bit, allow them to try and release towards the floor here. And then just start to walk your hands forward as you come into one last forward fold. Again, it's okay if your chin drops to your chest, finding rounding in your spine. Nice. Slowly walking your hands back to center, taking your feet down to the ground, wider than your hips. And then one last time, just start to windshield wiper your legs from side to side. You can add in a twist here if you'd like. Or the hip raise. Depending on what's going on in your life today, in your body. Awesome, and then just come back to center. Thank you guys for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And I will see you guys on Thursday. And I look forward to it. Thank you. Have a great day. Bo says bye. Right, buddy?